Hi friends. How comes whenever I come to talk to you guys, I'm always dirty? There's always dirt on my face, but this is what I look like in normal life. Obviously, we are out in the garden. I don't think you need to see my hands to know that I was in the garden. And we were working, and I thought I'd bring you guys along, show you guys an update on everything that we have going on, and talk to you guys about some growth I've made / some anxiety that I'm having. So let's dive into it. So it is May 3rd and I already have peppers hardening off. If my peppers were hardened off, I would plant them in the ground. We are unseasonably warm for this time of year. Typically this weekend is my last frost, and as a rule, my peppers don't go out until the nights are well above 50. So at least 50, but I'm looking like 55 or even a little bit higher. Last year, it was Memorial Day. It was like, I think the weekend before Memorial Day, and I still wasn't seeing a 10-day forecast that it didn't get to like at least 50 degrees at night. Well, right now, a whole month ahead of schedule, I don't have a single night below 50. I think maybe 150, but everything else is well above 55, 57, 58, 60 at night. In the days, during the days, it's about 85 degrees right now. We are so unseasonably warm, and the 10-day forecast doesn't show that changing. It shows it staying super, super hot with super warm nights. So what does that mean for me? I'm actually getting ready to go out of town again. I travel a lot. I travel a lot in general, but I travel a lot in the spring, especially when I have all of my gardening to do. So I'm getting ready to go out of town in a couple of days and be gone for a week, and I am feeling incredibly anxious about all the things that I need to get in the ground. I don't have my corn planted. I don't have my peppers in the ground. I just threw my tomatoes in the ground a couple days ago. I don't have my sunflowers and my main flowers. I just started planting flowers today, but I don't have my main flowers in the ground. I am not at all where I should be for 85-degree temperatures. So I'm trying to throw everything in the ground. And I typically wouldn't do that with me going out of town, but the 10-day forecast has been so great. We've had about the last week and a half of beautiful weather, and it doesn't seem to go anywhere. So I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to plant everything out before I go, or as much as I can before I go. But I'm really struggling with, it's 85 degrees. You should have your entire garden planted out. You should be like relaxing at this point. And I keep having to remind myself it is only May 3rd. It is well warmer than it typically is this time of year. I don't remember a year in recent years, since I've been gardening at least, that it has been this hot this early in the year. We've actually broken records for how warm it's gotten. So I keep trying to remind myself, like, it's okay. Yes, this weather could grow all of the things, but it's still very, very early. So I'm trying to like have that mind game of it's gonna be okay, you have time. But I'm not really succeeding. But what I think I am succeeding at is I am chipping away a little by little by little in the garden, getting the things done. And I think what I'm doing differently this year is I'm prioritizing what I'm doing, and before I even step foot in the garden, I'm making a realistic list, which is not what I typically do. I typically never make realistic lists, but I'm making a realistic list, and I'm tackling like a project each day. So today we tackled flowers. So I'm going to show you what I've done, but today we tackled flowers, and we got everything on the list that I wanted to get done. And so I feel pretty good. It's kind of like I'm kind of sectioning off the garden, and I'm attacking like each bit of it every single day. So I'm not getting burnt out. Wait until the sun goes down till it's not 85 degrees. I think right now it's like 74. It's probably 7:30 in the evening, 7ish, something like that. It's cool, it's nice, and I'm focusing on enjoying it. The last couple years, when I put the garden in, I put it in the middle of the day when it's hot, because that's typically when I can put the garden in. It's typically when I'm home, is in like on a Saturday in the middle of the day. But this year I'm changing up my whole game plan. So my typical dinner time is around 7, 8 o'clock at night in the summertime. And I'm changing that up this year, and so far I really like it. So I get home from work about 4:30, and up until this year, I get home at work at 4:30 and I rush outside to do stuff. I work until about 7:30. I don't really like anything that I'm doing, and then I come inside. I have to make dinner then, and then I can get a shower and kind of relax. This year, I'm coming home at 4:30. It's been 85 degrees when I get home, and where I work, this whole garden, this whole yard, gets beat with the afternoon sun. I have trees here, and the sun is there, but at 4:30, the sun is up there, and these trees do not help. So the sun just beats down. And so working in 85-degree temps with no shade, it's not me. I don't like it. So, and then when I was doing that, I'd go outside, I'd work in the beaten down sun, and then I'd go inside yet and still have to make myself dinner before I could get a shower and kind of relax for the evening. Well, now I'm coming home, I'm eating an early dinner. So I'm getting home at 4:30, I'm making dinner right away, and my goal is to be outside working around 6 o'clock. And then I work from like 6 to 8, get a shower, and then I can watch TV and relax for about an hour before bed, which is honestly all I can handle. I don't like to relax at all. So far, that's working out pretty well for me. What is down here? Oh, I have a plant down here. Something's tickling my leg. It was a weed. So I'm really enjoying that so far. So, I like the early dinner, and then I'm making a point to enjoy what I'm doing and not feel like, even though I feel like it, not make a point to, you gotta do all those right now. Be like, okay, you can do this today, this tomorrow, and this the next day. And we have time, you know? I want to get my whole corn patch in. I was talking to somebody the other day, who already apparently has corn coming, and I don't know how. And I'm a little jealous. But I'm trying to like take a step back, calm yourself. It's gonna be okay. So, if you are experiencing super warm temperatures like me, don't let yourself give yourself anxiety and stress, because the garden could be in and you're wasting all these sunny days because you still have time. You're not wasting anything. So I do have a lot going on in the garden. So before I go out of town, let's give you a quick garden tour. This is not going to be a typical garden tour because there's not that much going on, and certainly not that much to see. But let's give you a quick tour of the garden, show you what's going on in here, and then show you my second project, or my new project for this year. Okay, so not much going on in the garden. I did plant out my tomatoes. Look at my little tomatoes. Did plant out, so all of the green things you see are tomatoes. Typically all the green things you see are thistles, but this is a bed of tomatoes. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 that lived, and I think I lost 2 or 3. But that's okay. They were just like, I topped some tomatoes by accident, so I stuck them in the ground to see what happened, and I don't see them anymore. But this is 10 tomatoes. I still have 2 more. One I have to buy, that I'm gonna put in this bed. And typically I do about probably about 23 tomatoes ish. I kind of forget. I do a lot more than 10. But the reason I'm doing 10 this year is because I decided last year to do alternating years of heavy canning. So last year I did a heavy can, but I had I think 20 some tomato plants, and I focused on preserving them in all of the ways, in the tomato soup and the salsa and the enchilada sauce and the barbecue sauces and all the things. I even still have a couple bags in the freezer I need to do something with before these start coming in. So what that does for me is, I think my plan is to do a heavy load, and then I don't have to do heavy loads every single year. So whatever's coming out of this garden, if it's more than I can eat fresh, I can throw it in the freezer and maybe do some small batches here and there. Especially throw some of these in the freezer and do small batches like in the winter time when I have some downtime. I'm kind of looking for projects to do. But hopefully the plan is, with these 10 or 11, I forget what I just said, with this bed of tomatoes, what this is going to do is mainly just provide me with fresh eating, and then I can top off my stores a little bit, with the hope that I did one big preservation year that I never really have to do that kind of big preservation year again. I can just kind of do a little bit here and there to replenish what I used the year before. So that's the goal with that. Less tomatoes this year, and hopefully more fresh eaten. I'll be honest, I really struggle with eating what I grow because, so my garden is not a fresh eating garden. My garden is a pantry garden. So what that means is everything that comes out of this garden, its first and foremost job is to fill my pantry and to fill my freezers. So like I have broccoli. My broccolis are not doing so well, but I have broccolis and I'll eat a little bit fresh, absolutely. But I don't have enough space to grow as much as I want, and I would rather have it in the freezer. So for me, broccoli and my green beans especially, I eat them in the wintertime. I don't eat a lot of them in the spring and the summer just because my goal was to fill the pantry first. So while I did that, let's talk about our broccolis. So my last video, we constructed this insect netting to give our broccolis a better chance at survival. I'm going to show you that in a second. But we also put some broccolis in this bed here. I put, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 broccolis in this bed, and I have 2 up in another bed. So I have a total of 8 broccolis outside of the insect netting. So let's take you down and look at these. So some of these are doing okay. Like this guy, doing great, showing no damage, no insect damage. We have some insect damage here. The other 2 on the other end also have no insect damage. So I'm not really sure. Not really sure what's going on, because the broccolis that I covered with the insect netting, I covered because they were in such bad shape. Now, I am very excited to go out of town only because I want to come back and see the growth that this whole section hopefully does. I'm coming out here every day, and I am starting to see some things start growing. I'm able to see some things starting to grow. The thistle is growing like wildfire. But so are some of my broccolis and my cabbages. So my broccolis are along the back row. I have a couple cauliflowers in the middle, and I have cabbages in the front. There looks to be a cauliflower. There's cauliflower. There's a broccoli, 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 cauliflower, cauliflower. Don't mind my dirty fingers. And then here's our best looking cabbage. Here's a cabbage, not a good looking cabbage. And then I need to fix that. I just messed that up. And then here is a cabbage. This side is not looking as good. So back there, I have a broccoli. I have a broccoli right there. I had a whole bunch of cabbages in here, or cauliflowers in here. There's a cauliflower somewhere right there. There's a cauliflower. So, and then here, I had 7 cabbages in this row. There were 7. Now there are 3. One side is definitely doing better than the other side. The insect netting is not perfect by any sense of the word. There are bugs on the inside of it. Every morning I come out and I find like there's flying, well, I guess it's mosquitoes. Then they look like flying spiders. I don't know what they are, but I find them on the inside of the netting every morning, and then they disappear. So like there's only a couple bugs on the inside right now. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I know I have holes, but how do people get it like completely bug tight? How do you do it? I need the tips, because I have it lined with logs. You only see my body's in the way. Lined with logs. Ooh. And it's not working. But I think it's working enough to give these plants a fighting chance. And that's the goal. I just wanted to give them a fighting chance, so I can at least get something out of them. But I will say, I definitely wanted cabbage this year. I planted 7. I wanted 7. So 3 is upsetting. I live near Amish country, and so I can always go buy really cheap cabbages from over in Amish country if I need to, which it sounds like I'm going to because I only have 3. This is my just today. This is my new in-ground strawberry bed. So I have done strawberries before. Let's sit on the hay pile with a straw pile. Ooh. I just fell into the straw pile. I have done in-ground strawberries before. Oh my god, straw is very pokey. But I've always had like rabbits and squirrels get to my strawberries before I do, and they take one bite of it and then they're full. So I do think strawberries do better in the ground. I have some in my green stalk as well, but I do think they do better in the ground. So I have a whole bunch in the ground. And this is another thing I'm excited to walk away from and come back and check out when I get home. Now, I did start weeding this a little bit and I did stop. I have a ton of weeding I need to do in this bed yet, but that's a story for another day. But you can see all the strawberries. So I have some lettuce up there at the end, but all of these strawberries that you see little flowers on, all of these are ones that I overwintered last year. These are Everbearing strawberries. And I have a couple there, and they are set in fruit. They have little strawberries on them. That one's a good one. They have little strawberries on them. I also went and bought this year some June Baron. They're called Ever Spring, I believe. June Baron strawberries. And I have a whole bunch in the ground. They were on sale. They were on clearance. It was $11 for 25. And I think that's because they were like, they thought they were dead. So again, this is another thing. I'm excited to go away and come back and see if more of these strawberries have woken up. In this bed, before I planted these strawberries, I think I had about 10 or 11 or so, 12 or so strawberries that I successfully overwintered. Now I'm probably saying I have 20 or more. But I don't know if that's because some are waking up from last year or the ones I planted are starting to wake up. But I'm really excited to have these hoops. I like this one better because it's black netting and you can't honestly see that, whereas you can see the white netting. But I'm excited about these because I am 100% going to get heavy plastic and try to turn those into like a overwinter or even like a late fall garden bed. This is another place I put those strawberries. I'm seeing growth more so here than I am over in that bed. Like I'll turn you around and show you. Like this one here has little growth. It looks like I don't remember planting them with like this stuff on it. So I think they're starting to wake up, but like this one not so much. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm excited. I'm excited. So other updates that don't really have updates for this bed, I did put potatoes in. I said I wasn't going to do potatoes, but my potatoes from the fall harvest were really sprouted, and they were just going to get composted, and they were either going to grow potatoes in the compost bin or potatoes in the garden. So I threw them in the garden, and I am going to I only filled up that bed. It's not a big bed. So I am still going to do a large fall harvest of potatoes. I think that's just still the way I want to go. This was just, you have them, you might as well do them. And then this bed right there is a beet bed. Beets are really small and you can't really see them. I think I'm going to give them a week. I don't think I'm going to get to them in time, but I am going to, I think, reseed the beet beds. Just because I didn't have bad germination, but we have room, I think. So I think I want to add some more beet seeds and get a really nice beet harvest. The other thing I did today is I sowed zinnias along the whole length of this fence. Not the whole length. I did a good chunk. Probably about from right where that plastic container is I need to pick up all the way down here. It's probably about this post that post right there. So I did put some zinnias in there. I do want to take it the whole way to the edges, so I do want to get some more zinnia seeds. These are the only starts that I had. And that's another thing to keep in mind. Even if you're not a flower person, you don't like flowers because they bring in bees or whatever, they do bring in the bees. And you need bees to pollinate a lot of your stuff. Zucchini, peppers, tomatoes, they all need bees to help. Well, most plants need bees, but bees need to help pollinate your stuff. So don't forget about flowers in your vegetable garden, because that will help bring in the bees to your garden. And then the only new update on this area is I did plant out some black beans along my fence. I only went to the first post. I still need to go the whole way down, but I don't have the beans. So if you've never grown beans, beans are super easy to grow, and you grow them from the dried beans you buy at the grocery store. Do not buy beans from Seed Catalog, from Amazon. I remember one year I bought black beans from Amazon. I think I paid like $7 for like 25 black beans. And it's just the black beans that you eat. So beans are super easy to grow. And the one thing I struggle with my black beans is everybody loves to eat the black bean sprouts. So hopefully you don't eat them this time. But I got at least part of that fence started, and then when I get back from out of town, I'm gonna do kidney beans and navy beans in the rest of that section. Now, this is the newest endeavor that we're gonna do. I decided this year I wanted to do a flower farm. So I got half of my flower farm set up, and I have more to do, but let's talk about it. So my dream, if you asked me what I wanted to do with my life, I would get on a soapbox and I would talk about how I want to have a massive farm, grow all of the things, and I mean all of the things, and have a farm stand, have a store. And I want to sell all of the organic produce, but I also want to sell all the things that you only get if you grow it, like Kajari melons, which I've never tried. I don't like melons. It's the only reason why I haven't tried it. But if you like melons, I heard Kajari melons are great, and like rattlesnake beans and dragon tongue bush beans and burgundy okra. There are so many things that home gardeners can grow that you're not finding at the grocery store or even a lot of farmers markets. So I want to grow all of the staples, but then I want to be able to have those extras, those fun things. And I get on the soapbox of I want it to be organic. Because I firmly believe that organic produce and healthy produce and produce that is good for you and that is filling and is going to be good for your soul and nourish your body. I firmly believe that is a God-given right. And it's got commercialized and all this stuff, and it's no longer a God-given right. I think you should be able to grow what the earth sends you, free of chemicals, free of pesticides, and you are owed that right. And so I want to have this big market, and I want to be able to trade food for services. Like, if you're a single mom and you just can't afford to buy produce, can you give me an hour of your time and help me harvest green beans and then go pick a basket worth of stuff for you to take home? Or I want to have kind of like that system set up that if you can't buy it, can we trade? Can we have that trade and that barter system that you can still have that food for free? So that's my long goal. And like, I want to add in like homemade soaps and all that stuff. I'm not at the place where I can do that yet. If I wanted to, I could turn this whole yard into that space. I don't want to. I will be honest, taking care of what I take care of on top of a full-time job, on top of trying to have a little bit of a social life and I don't honestly have a social life. I don't know why I said that. I don't have a social life. This is what I do. But it's a lot of work. And I've thought about turning the whole yard into the garden and getting this dream started, and I just don't have the time and the space. This is something I really need a partner, I think, to kind of help me with, or I need to be able to do this full time, and I'm not at that place at this point in time. And I may never be, who knows? But that's the dream that I have. So what I am at the place for is, I think, a very small flower farm. At this point in time, my goal is to just make money off of this homestead. I put money into it, so I'll show you what I'm doing. So this area used to be, I used to have a big tree here. I cut it down 2 years ago. Cut it down because it was gonna come down. Part of it did, and I cried. It was a whole thing. So there's still a stump underneath of this. I had them grind the stump out as much as they could, but if you dig down, you're still gonna hit stump. So this is not, unless I guess I could bring in a good dump truck load of dirt and cover this up and then grass seed it. But I have all that for yard. Why do I want more yard? So this originally I made into a movie pit. Loved the idea of a movie pit, but never used it. So I'm turning this into, and I'm calling this the flower farm. I'm turning this into a flower farm. So I've put money into buying these 2 beds. I bought 2 more that I haven't put up yet that are 9-foot beds. They're going to run the length of the front and the length of the back here. And my hope is to do plants, to do flowers, just flowers that I, number one, don't feel bad cutting. I hate cutting flowers from my garden because I feel like it hurts the bees. I feel like it takes away the prettiness of the garden. So this is going to be a cut flower garden, which I don't do. And I'm going to make little bouquets, and I'm going to sell little bouquets. Well, not little bouquets, but simple bouquets, I guess. So that is my goal this year, is to at least make money with this homestead. I'm not gonna make a profit. Each of these beds, for these 2 beds, were $65 total, and then the next 2 beds were also another $65, and then plus dirt. By all is said and done, I'll have $250 wrapped up in this, at the very least. So the goal is not to make a profit here this year. The goal is to prove that I can do it. I'm 100% somebody who says, oh, I'll do it next year. Oh, I'll do it next year. Oh, I'll do it next year. And I don't want to do that, because when the opportunity comes that I can afford a farm, that I can have the space that I want to have, the big garden, I don't want to keep saying, I'll do it next year. I'll do it next year. I'll do it next year. I want to be able to just do it. And that's the hard part. That's the hard part for me, is just doing it. I'll grow the stuff. This is going to get grown no matter what. Will I put it in a bucket and put it down on my sidewalk for people to buy? That's the question. But that is what I'm very much going to try to do this year in order to just start making money with what I do. Start making money from my hobby. So in this bed here, I started snapdragons. That's the big green stuff. This way. That's the green stuff right there. A whole bunch of snapdragons. I planned for this entire bed to be snapdragons, and I thought I started enough. Clearly didn't. So that sucks. So I did half of it in snapdragons and then half of it with celosia. And I'm hoping that will be a good cut flower, especially in the fall. So we'll see. I have no idea. And then this bed here I filled with a ton of dahlias. I did a lot of dahlias in this bed, so we'll see how those go. And then I have 2 more long beds that are going to go on either side of this, what I'm calling the farm garden, or flower farm is what I'm calling it. So a long bed here and then a long bed up there. And I think, well, I know one of them is for sure going to hold sunflowers. And I'm going to my favorite flower farm tomorrow to buy all of my annuals and all that fun stuff. And we'll see what I buy. I'm going to be on the lookout for cut flowers for my bouquets. So we'll see. The 2 9-foot beds may be all sunflowers. They may not. I kind of wanted one to be zinnias. But I think I have a lot of zinnias along the back of the garden, so we'll see. We still have time. I obviously don't have those 2 beds together yet, so we're going to have to play it by ear. But we'll see. So before I wrap up this video, I just wanted to take you down and show you this beautiful flower garden that is just producing all of the beautiful white and then this gorgeous yellow iris. I am loving how this garden has produced all the white flowers. I think it looks great. Well, I think Sawyer is done being outside today. But thank you guys for joining me. And I'll see you guys on the next video. When I come back, I think the garden's gonna be popping. I see a ton of flowers in this space. I see a ton of flowers in the upstairs space, in the patio garden. So I think we're gonna come back to a ton of flowers bursting and a lot of work that we're gonna need to keep getting done. I'm excited for this year. I think I'm more excited for this year than I have been in a long time. I think I'm taking time to enjoy it more, and I'm making sure I don't push myself too hard, which is also something I tend to do. So I'm trying not to do that too. So I'm gonna gather my dog, gather my laundry. I'm gonna go inside and rest. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.